my dear listener. Imagine for a moment that you are sitting in a quiet, comfortable place, perhaps by a window where the soft light of the morning filters through and the hum of life outside moves gently, almost as if in rhythm with your own breathing. And as you sit there, allow yourself to picture a person who has lived for more than 90 years, not simply surviving, but thriving, with eyes that still sparkle with curiosity, with hands that still move with steadiness, with a mind that carries the wisdom of decades yet remains curious as a child, and with a heart that continues to love life with gratitude. Now imagine that this person is not rare, not a miracle of chance, but one among many who live in small corners of the world, in places where longevity is not the exception, but the expectation, where people live into their 90s and even beyond 100, while still walking, laughing, and engaging with the world around them. And the question that arises naturally is this: what are their secrets? What hidden wisdom allows them to extend their days with such vitality? And what lessons might they teach us so that our own lives may be enriched not only with years but with meaning? When researchers travel to these communities, whether in the sun-drenched villages of Sardinia, the peaceful valleys of Okinawa, the green hills of Nicoya, or the quiet towns of Ikaria, they find patterns woven gently into daily life. Patterns that are not about grand discoveries or expensive treatments, but about simple habits, timeless rituals, and ways of being that nourish both body and spirit. And today, dear friend, I wish to share with you 5 profound lessons from these remarkable elders, lessons that may illuminate our own path toward not only longevity, but a deeper sense of fulfillment. The first lesson is about purpose, a word that seems small but carries the weight of a lifetime. In Okinawa, there is a term, ikigai, which translates loosely as a reason for being, and it is this sense of having something meaningful to rise for each morning that gives energy to the heart and clarity to the mind. For when you know why you are here, when you feel that your existence is connected to something greater than yourself, whether it is nurturing a garden, cooking a meal for loved ones, teaching a skill to the younger generation, or simply caring for a neighbor, then each day carries a spark that ignites vitality. Without purpose, the hours may feel heavy, the body may weaken, and the mind may drift. But with it, life feels light. Days feel precious, and health seems to follow naturally. Imagine an elderly woman in Okinawa who still tends to her small plot of land, bending gently to plant seeds, watering them with care, watching them grow, and harvesting them not only for her table but for the joy of sharing them with her children and grandchildren. And in those simple actions lies a profound truth, that we are not meant to merely pass time. We are meant to live it, to fill it, to honor it with acts that matter, however small they may seem. Purpose fuels resilience, and resilience fuels longevity. The second lesson from these wise elders is the power of movement. Though not the kind of forced exercise that many of us imagine, with treadmills or heavy weights or loud music, but rather the natural and continuous motion woven into daily living. In Sardinia, men and women walk steep hillsides every day, not as a workout but as a necessity of tending sheep or visiting neighbors. In Nicoya, elders walk to market, to church, or to a friend's home, In Ikaria, people move constantly as they garden, cook, fetch water, or gather firewood. And in Okinawa, the act of kneeling and rising repeatedly from the floor keeps joints flexible and muscles strong. What researchers find is that this gentle, persistent activity strengthens the body without strain, preserves mobility, and prevents the decline that comes from stillness. Think of it as a river that flows steadily, not violently but persistently carving its way through the earth, shaping landscapes over centuries. And in the same way, daily movement shapes the body into a vessel of strength and endurance. When movement is not a burden but a natural part of life, it does not exhaust but sustains. It does not injure but heals. And it becomes the quiet companion of longevity. The third lesson is connection. And perhaps no gift is greater to the human spirit than the presence of others who see us, who share with us, and who hold us in times of joy and sorrow alike. In Sardinia, multi-generational families live side by side, eating meals together, caring for one another, and celebrating life's milestones not in solitude but in community. In Okinawa, groups of friends known as moai meet regularly, offering companionship, laughter, and support through the years. In Ikaria, neighbors gather not only for festivals but for everyday conversation, where music and dancing are not reserved for the young but are embraced by all. Loneliness, science tells us, is as harmful to health as smoking or obesity, yet these elders rarely know loneliness, for their lives are stitched together with bonds of affection and belonging. Picture an old man in Sardinia, sharing bread and wine at a table surrounded by children, grandchildren, and neighbors. The air filled with laughter, stories flowing freely, and in that moment his heart beats, not only for himself but for the community he loves. Human connection nourishes the soul as surely as food nourishes the body, and it guards against despair, against decline, and against the quiet erosion of spirit that comes with isolation. To live long is not only to keep breathing, it is to keep belonging. The fourth lesson is found in the food that sustains these elders, food that is simple, natural, and close to the earth. In Nicoya, the traditional diet is built around beans, corn, and squash, rich in nutrients and gentle on the body. In Okinawa, meals include sweet potatoes, fresh vegetables, tofu, and seaweed, all served in modest portions with an emphasis on variety rather than excess. In Sardinia, bread made from whole grains, fresh vegetables, olive oil, and small amounts of cheese or fish form the basis of daily meals, while in Ikaria, wild greens, herbs, and homegrown vegetables dominate the table. What is absent from these diets is as important as what is present. Very little processed food, minimal sugar and meat consumed only occasionally, instead of eating until they are full. Okinawans follow the principle of harahachibu, stopping when they are about 80% satisfied, a practice that lightens the body and lengthens life. Food, in these communities, is not only nourishment but ritual, a shared experience that connects families and neighbors, that celebrates the seasons and that honors the earth. When meals are simple, fresh, and shared, they become medicine, and medicine, taken daily in this way, extends health naturally. The fifth and perhaps most profound lesson is peace of mind, the cultivation of inner calm through gratitude, faith, and perspective. Stress, as modern science confirms, damages the body, weakens the immune system, and shortens life. Yet in these longevity hotspots, stress is softened by rituals of relaxation, prayer, meditation, and laughter. In Ikaria, afternoons are often reserved for rest, a siesta that replenishes the body and mind. In Nicoya, faith plays a central role, providing comfort, guidance, and community. In Okinawa, elders practice gratitude, giving thanks for small blessings, forgiving quickly, and releasing grudges that would otherwise weigh heavily. What emerges is a pattern of living in the present, embracing what comes and finding joy in simplicity. Imagine an elderly woman sitting quietly at sunset, her hands folded in prayer, her heart unburdened by anger or regret, and her spirit lightened by the simple recognition that each day is a gift. In this state of mind, the body finds rest, the heart finds rhythm, and life flows gently into old age with dignity and grace. When we gather these 5 lessons together, purpose, movement, connection, simple food, and peace of mind, we see not a prescription for longevity in the form of pills or treatments, but a way of life that is available to each of us, wherever we may be. It is not about chasing youth, but about honoring life. Not about clinging to time, but about enriching it. The world's oldest people remind us that the secret to living long is not hidden in extraordinary acts, but in ordinary ones, repeated with love, with consistency, and with meaning. They show us that to live to 90 and beyond is not only possible, but joyful. When each day is filled with purpose, when the body is kept in motion, when love is abundant, when meals are simple and shared, and when the mind is at peace. And so, dear friend, as you reflect on your own journey, perhaps you may ask yourself not only how many years you wish to live, but how you wish to live those years, for in the end, it is not the number of breaths we take, but the moments that take our breath away. Not the length of life, but the depth of life. Not the years in your life, but the life in your years that will matter most. And if you carry even one of these lessons into your days, you may find that the path ahead shines brighter, stretches farther, and feels lighter. And perhaps one day you too will sit with eyes that sparkle, with hands that tell stories, with a heart that still loves life deeply, and you will say, yes, this was a life well lived.